So we're live, but just fucking barely. Just fucking barely. If you're in Canada, you know what I'm talking about. This is what happened.
We are live. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Our whiny, cranky co-host will be a little extra whiny and cranky today. Let's bring out the Canadian.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing horrible. You want to know why I'm doing horrible? Because you're having such a rough day.
It's amazing how much we rely on internet.
Scary, right?
Yes, it is very scary.
So
Thankfully,
guys,
I haven't had to deal with any emergencies, but it's affected 911, police, all sorts of stuff has gotten affected by it.
So it's the entire, is it all of Canada or just your area?
I know it's Canada-wide. I mean, we also have another carrier, Bell, which is a large carrier, but as I understand it, the majority of minor carriers all piggyback off of Rogers. So, like my internet, which is not provided by Rogers, is provided by a small startup company, it's down because obviously they pay a fee. So, this is why you don't allow monopolies.
But if they have to pay someone else for the internet, why wouldn't you just use the person that they pay?
I don't know enough about it, but as I understand it, it's about piggybacking off of the cell phone towers. Like who has the rights to the broadcasting towers, etc., if I understand correctly. But that's neither here nor there. We are live just barely, so we'll see how this goes.
Look at all these people up in here already complaining. My gosh. Poor Jason is late 2 minutes and you guys all have heart attacks. Gray Rider. Hey, so Gray Rider, you're supposed to be on Freshman and Fabulous this month. So we got to see if you're going to be able to make it. It's actually supposed to be Gray Rider and Steven from Desert Mojave Warmths. I don't know if you noticed though, but Gray Rider is doing like these cool things, like cool kid things. Kind of like what AK Morphs was doing with the logos.
Okay.
But
like the silhouettes?
But next level.
Okay.
Like he posted some the other day and they look really cool. Now he posted one of Gomez Python's rat shed, but he doesn't have a rat shed anymore. He didn't give everything to Big E.
Did he? I'm not sure. I'm not up to date on it.
Yeah, actually, it's so funny. Sal hit me up a little bit earlier today, and I guess it's applicable to today's show. He was asking where to send the shed, so I sent him like a whole bunch of links to all the shows I've done on the genetic on the ball python genetics project. You know, always plugging. But excuse me, sir, is that illegal? What are you doing right now?
Yeah,
in public.
Yep.
I would like this noted for the record. I am not part of this. I am not.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not violating any laws, neither internationally or nationally here. You know, the guy's he's having a bad day. Please, if he see this or the Mounties come knocking on his window, he's really bad day.
Oh my lord.
The whole point is that he has I guess a candy shed that he wanted to send in. And I just let him know that right now, I mean, gosh, the project got so big and the participation got so large that there's a huge backlog right now.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yeah, so there's a huge backlog. So that's kind of sad. And then that brings me to think about Elijah, who I've had on a couple of shows, that was talking about doing the mini, I want to say PCR test. I forgot what they're called.
I think that's correct.
Having it in the house, so it kind of shows you like, wow, you know, you gain so much momentum with this project, and now, you know, it's kind of like you could say pretty much halted. It's kind of sad. Why is Jason upset? He woke up Canadian. He woke up Canadian, and realized it. Did you see my story today of you?
Yes, I did. That was highly amusing.
And no comment?
Why am I sitting in my car stealing Wi-Fi from a Tim Hortons? Like, I've been on bigger fucking projects today, like trying to figure out how we were going to broadcast tonight, not worrying about how I can retaliate to your comment that you made.
I just thought it was so cool. Like, how wouldn't you? Hey. So Steve Serpent is here. Just giving you an update that big ass sugar baby, she shed. She didn't eat, but I think it was because she was shedding. And then the gravid fire spider, she didn't eat, and obviously it's because she's most likely got too much going on inside. Everybody else ate, and they love num. They love their ASF, just for the record. But I will let you know the sugar wasted 144 gram ASF. I wasn't too happy about that. All right, honey, just to let you know. So what's new? How was your week this week?
Just been posting stuff, getting a bunch of animals up on Morph Market finally, and that's really been the majority of what I've been focused on, pairings and Morph Market. So it's been a productive week, all in all. Can't complain.
So Gray Rider, it's a CNC plasma cutter, CNC laser engraver. Nice. Why is Jason in the car? Because he didn't pay his
yeah. Me and everybody else in Canada.
He didn't pay his internet bill, so he had to drive somewhere to someone that did pay their internet bill, and he's kind of like stealing it for free while he's doing drugs and other things that are illegal. Complete shit show. Did Jason get kicked out of his house?
Oh my God.
So did DTMG ever get a swag pack, or do you have him on?
I'm holding him ransom like I held you ransom.
So Lindsay, nothing for you, Lindsay. No snorkeling pics for you today. When are you going to send me the pictures I asked for? What? Dick pic? What kind? What is it, guys? This isn't this type of show. What is going on here? My God. Waterbird. Jason, brother, how are you? Okay, well, we'll pretend that I'm not sitting here. Let's just pretend that one.
What's going on, Thomas?
Let's see. Saw a Morph Market post the other day from Canova that said verified yellow belly from genetic testing.
Cool.
That's interesting. And I say that because I know someone reached out to me this week on Morph Market, and they sent me screenshots of a communication they had with someone. And I'll say who it was. It was ball and hand pythons. And it's funny because it was ball and hand pythons that was promoting someone else. I'm sorry, it was not ball and hand pythons. I stand corrected. That was a different conversation we were having on Morph Market. This was actually Old Troy City who had sent it, and in the communication, the man says that it's verified het pied, then backtracks and says that that's not possible yet. So it's like a back and forth. So I think we have to be, and obviously I'm not discussing or referring to Canova, but we have to be weary about people now using this to hustle others and claim that there's been genetic testing to verify the animals they're selling. So you guys have to be mindful of that. I mean, again, you need to know who you're dealing with and do your research. Yeah, so that's definitely an interesting thing. I had a decent week on doing my shows. On Wednesday, I had Earl from Lone Star Reptiles on What's in Your Cup. So, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Jason is so jealous of What's in Your Cup. He's drinking Tim Hortons tonight. And he wanted to do his own Friday night version of my Wednesday morning. It's not the first time a Canadian tried to duplicate the
Check
show.
the timelines. Check the timelines. Just look at the dates, guys. The dates will tell the truth.
So I had Earl, and I've wanted Earl on for quite some time, and it's really cool when you know other people, and they say it's kind of like when you have a child. You can tell your child the same thing over and over again, but they don't want to hear it. And then when someone else says it, it's like they've heard it for the first
information.
Time. You've been saying the same thing like their entire life, and the first time someone else says it, it's like, ah. So there were a lot of things that, and I had told Earl that I was looking forward to the conversation because he and we speak on the phone sometimes, and there are a lot of things that we share similar ideologies and we do similar things such as ASFs, etc. So that was really cool to have Earl on Wednesday. Now, yesterday I had the lovely Keisha from Splash Pack Pythons out of Georgia. Now, when we were speaking, I was letting her know, and I revealed who my third judge was for the Battle of the Balls Eye Candy Extravaganza. Did I tell you who the third judge was?
No.
So the third judge is Summer. Her name is Summer. Girls with Scales. And nice little bonus was finding out that she works at Canova. And what I didn't know is that Keisha also works at Canova. So that was pretty cool to discover that last night. So that was another good show, to see a young lady doing her thing and working some really, really interesting projects. So Brian just had some arroz con gandules and pork. I most definitely didn't. And I kind of hate you, Jay Quintana, just for saying that, because I definitely won't be having it tonight or anytime soon. And now you have it on my mind. 121 Mutation says, which is what I've said all along, real easy to have a shed from another animal and just say it was for the second animal. No, I get what you're saying, 121 Mutations, but we're not even talking about that level of sophistication. We're talking about people that are just saying it's done, and then when you ask for verification, there's backtracking, where they're just saying it and don't even have any results. So that's very interesting to know. Slater Snake says, Jason, I'm hiding in my truck. Well, I'm pulling a friend out of the yard. Lucky I have service, but sitting still now. Unlike Canada. Jar Python says, we have got verified genetic desert ghost tested through Manny's Genetic Guesses Inc. I even got a certificate. Wow. That is vicious. Wow. Quick question. Do you have to wear balaclava when you read the results? How was your week otherwise?
Good, man. Like I said, got a lot done. No complaints for the most part. It's been a productive week. So spending a lot of time cleaning rats and that whole digs. Wow. Thanks, bud. Thanks.
So I'm really not sure how I feel about that, Pope County. Pope County says, I bet Jason drinks iced coffee, some kind of skinny latte. I think he's trying to insult his manhood. First of all, I drink iced coffee, just so we,
he must have hit a nerve if Brian's defending me.
Well, not only do I drink iced coffee, the skinny latte is a Starbucks thing. I also have many times have had skinny latte, so I'm kind of offended, like all over the place. But I'm very secure in my masculinity, so it doesn't phase me at all. Okay, Amazing Feeders for You is on their last delivery
nice.
To us. So technically,
have you checked out their setup?
I have checked out their setup. I have checked out their setup, and it is quite impressive.
It's impressive. Okay. It is impressive.
So, I was talking today about having a shed either built for me Well, the person I asked, he works with me, and he does construction as well. He was laying some concrete today, and then they're gonna build an addition to a house. And I was like, can you just build me a rat shed? And then he said, well, why don't you just buy one from the Amish? So we have the Amish up here that they say if you.
Valid point.
I don't know how I feel about what you just did. Like, that was just weird.
Really? Okay.
Okay. Jim says, I love iced coffee. Let's go. Real men drink iced coffee. Every test you get a free ski mask. Okay. So I did see that. So definitely an interesting setup. Definitely still a huge frustration for me. Needing extra help is still a topic that I haven't entertained, but I think I need to entertain. Um, and apparently, Canova is not having any issue getting extra help, that he's hiring all these people. Pretty cool, though, that they actually really don't get paid, or apparently they get, I guess, paid by the job and not by the hours, because I think they're like assigned sections. Now that's a setup when, like, you have a whole section, like you have section, row 7, aisle 3.
Yeah, you're doing 100 bins or whatever it is per shift.
Right. So they have a section. So she was talking about
how piecework.
That she'll try to knock it out in a day. Gosh, I just want somebody to help me clean these tubs,
Tell me about it.
Hope County says, Brian, I'm proud of you for diving into rodent breeding. I appreciate it. It's really not that hard. Let's see. Slater Snake says, build your own. Real men build their own stuff. Shut the hell up. Shut that shit up, boy. Amazing Feeder says, it's so hard to find any help. No one wants to clean rodent snakes. Well, it's hard to, I don't know how it is in Canada right now, but it's hard across the board to find help today. I mean, I have raised entry-level positions. Now you have people that are coming in for entry-level positions that are making the money of a 3-4 year experienced person, just to get them to walk through the door. I want people to work for me just for having the good fortune of working for me and not having to pay them. So it's even worse that you do have to pay them if you think about it. But yeah, it's something that I am working on right now, which is trying to get this additional labor. It's absolutely stressing me out. This banner is not working. What's new? Let's see. I told you about the joint pairing, right? That we had an awesome 10 egg clutch. Unfortunately, my partner in that joint pairing is a cutter. Say no to egg cutting, guys. Say no to egg cutting. But I will say, I can see I guess you could call it enthusiasm in cutting an egg, and I can see, like, his son.
Like Christmas, right?
His son picked the first egg, and it comes out. Well, first of all, so you guys have an idea. It was, I've talked about it plenty of times, a freaking stud muffin of a male. It was the first time Ozzy ever released a double dose, super high intensity Orange Dream, leopard, fire, yellow belly, double head, clown, pied. The pied was actually discovered by accident, which was awesome. So his son picks an egg, and when his son picks the egg, you got to see this thing. This thing is just so impressive, and Jose puts a little chat together, and a few of us jump in on the chat, and it's like, all right, what's the next one? What's the next one? Now, mind you, his is a het clown, and it went to my 3,300 gram female clown. So if you know the odds, I mean, if we hit somewhere, near 50%, you're kind of happy, right? If you hit 50% of those visuals. The next egg clown. The next egg, clown. The next egg, clown. The next egg, clown. The next egg, clown. We're like, what the hell is going on? So I can see like how you can get this whole crazy like urge to cut and see what's going in there. You know, I got a sense of it. So it worked out. We thought it was 9. It's actually eight visuals out of the 10 that came out clown, and
it's ridiculous.
6 of those 8 are Triple Gene, where they're both the High Intensity Orange Dream and the Fire, and then the other ones are just beautiful, but definitely a beautiful thing there.
Very cool.
Third Eye Python says, preach, the starting wages are crazy right now. I know that you also own a company outside of your reptile operation there. It's extremely scary. What I will say is that if you do own a company and you do have to increase your wages, I think that you have to put and this is anything that you're doing right now, you do have to put an increased amount of focus on creating, or if you already have it, maintaining a culture where people want to work there. The last thing you want to do right now is invest so much time, energy, effort, money into someone, train them, and then a short time later, they take this training, they take this experience elsewhere to earn an extra 50 cents an hour, which sometimes, you know, young people don't realize it's not always better, right? You know, I explain to the young people I hire, you might find another job, you know, for a couple of dollars more, but if you take into account you're driving an hour there, you're driving an hour back, the amount of gas money, you add those extra 40 hours a month of travel, that's an entire week of work.
You're
making less money. Even though it seems like you're making more, you're making less. But I think when you create a culture where people want to work there more than just earning $1, then you'll notice people will stay longer. But at the same time, don't confuse that for not paying them as close as what they're worth as possible. Because I don't think we could ever really afford to pay people what they're worth. People always say pay people what they're worth. The reality is most good employees are worth more than you're even capable of paying them based on your payout schedule. So Jack Davis says, I'm an egg cutter. Oh, what an ugly avatar. Gosh, that thing is disgusting. That's like the Dallas Cowgirls avatar there. I'm an egg cutter. That's whenever my girl lays them, that is. My females are making me stressed out.
We'll do that.
Someone told me they wanted $25 an hour to clean tubs. I laughed. I had someone come in, no experience at all. And the irony is the majority of the work we do is elevated.
Self-inflated sense of worth.
And
don't worry, Johnny, you're special.
When I asked
them, will work out for you when you grow up.
And when I asked them if they were scared of heights, they told me yes. And I'm just like, you do realize you're working off the ground. So not only are you not worth the money you're asking for, you're not even capable. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I definitely dig it.
100%, man.
Morph Wizards, Joe's Balls Python says, Target here is paying $25 an hour. Most people would rather that than clean tubs. Well, that's another reality. I mean,
depends on what you want to do, right? I'd rather be exposed. Like if I had my choice to make, $25 working at a warehouse or Target or whatever, or make $25 working in an industry I love, yeah, you're slugging shit. But think about what you're learning. You know, there's so many things that you're going to pick up working in an industry that you like or that you're related to, as opposed to flipping burgers or fucking, you know, doing whatever at your local. Yeah, they pay you the same, but fuck, man, you're just wasting your time and spinning your wheels. What are you doing day after day? Wouldn't you rather be learning something that applies to what you want?
Well, let's just take this into consideration here. We're talking about Canova, right? So just imagine the ability to get paid to work.
Right? Oh man, fuck,
Okay.
sign me up. I'd take a pay cut for that kind of a gig. Just the networking connection, just the exposure level. Oh my lord.
You can drop, if that's not a name drop right there, I work at Canova. Okay, just think about that. Like that's not like the ultimate name drop in the ball python breeding world. You could have worked there one day and you have just gained like the ultimate credibility. Okay. You know, I work at Canova. I thought the garbage, but you don't have to say that part. You know,
yeah, sign me up. Fuck.
Right. Slater Snake says, people chase money instead of investing into the company. More than 10 years building homes. Love my job and pay. Yeah, well, that's an awesome thing. I'd work at Target. He doesn't talk about my Cowboy Nation. Hey, don't talk about my Cowboy. I'm definitely not talking about your Cowboy Nation. I'm talking about that bootleg team there. There's definitely a difference between a job and a career. I think most kids don't think about that. I think we are definitely in bad times. We're definitely in bad times. That's for sure. I would clean tubs at Canova for the experience for free. I 100%.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Fuck, they're gonna pay you $25 an hour US to do that? Giddy the fuck up. Let's go. I'm down. If I was there, I'd fully take that job.
Now that you're seeing things that others aren't seeing. You're learning.
It opens you up to a whole nother dimension of possibilities.
You're seeing all the behind the scenes activities, the real deal. And guys, just for the record, you know, interning for me is a great thing. I just want to make that clear. You know, I'm obviously not Canova, but I promise you, if you intern for me, you would really gain such a level of experience that you would be able to transcend across genres. Okay. Just so we're clear, if anyone wants to intern for me. So if you're in the Canada region or you're in the North Country, even Vermont, reach out to me. Definitely been an interesting week. We start the competition next week, which is really cool. Wait, is it next week? No. July 21st is our first round of competition for the Battle of the Balls Eye Candy Extravaganza. Like I said, I would really love to see you go against one of your own animals. I think that would be epic, especially if you lost to one of your own animals. That would be.
Does that really count as a loss, though?
I guess not, right? But yes, it does. Somebody else had your animal and they repped it.
It's more like getting fucking robbed, but whatever. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Well, you can't.
I think it's really cool.
You have three different judges, right? With three different perspectives.
Yeah.
One from the West Coast, one from the South, and one from the East Coast. Then you will have a special guest every month that will have little to no experience at all in the ball python.
It'll just be about their preferences.
Yep, that's it. It's eye candy. That's it.
So I can go anywhere, right? Like,
and then you have the viewers. So you're definitely encouraged to have your viewers, your network watch the show because they'll carry more weight than the viewers that can vote from the night of the competition until the next competition. So it's pretty cool. You got five. You got to look at it like that. You have 5 votes, and they don't all weigh the same and different perspectives. And I think it's just and
couple wild cards.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to be crazy. I mean, we're gonna know some of the genes, but who knows what comes out of left field that
well, I think the thing I like best about that is how you're bringing in people with no experience. So it really throws everything off, right? Like you could have that they just happen to like something basic, and it just totally turns the tables on what everybody else would have thought would win, or would win rather.
So balls and strikes. I think they made a typo, a huge typo here. Hey everyone, just stopping in to see what Jason will be wrong about today. I think that's what he meant to type. That's what he meant to type. Okay. Good, and then he continues with good thing Brian. Another typo. He meant to write Brian. Good thing Brian is on here to lay down some knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Really appreciate that.
He needs a few chops down to size every now and then.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. I'm just wondering, I've been looking through Morph Market. I've been looking, through our network, seeing so many people either downsize dramatically or close up shop, seeing people that are holding animals for a long time. Are we at that point that we have to figure out other ways to grow the ball python community? And I think things like this contest would be an example, depending on who these special guests are and depending on how large of networks they have, can help with that. But how do we intentionalize growing the ball python community? Because let's just be realistic about it. People are holding on to animals for quite some time, and that eventually makes people desperate. They need space. It exactly
Prices go down.
It plummets the value of the animal.
People start competing. In turn, other breeders lower their prices to reflect it. What's going on here? And it doesn't help that we're going through this recession, right? Like, I don't know what it's like over there, but it's not exactly, people aren't exactly throwing money around over here. So I think there's a few factors that are playing into it, but
that's interesting that you say that. Damn, yo, I forgot it was Friday. What's up,
what's going on, Claire?
So that's interesting that you say that, because there's actually all of these concerns. I'm in a field where I don't think the recession will hurt me. I think it actually would help me. And the reason being is that when I ran a flooring, a market for a flooring company, when we had a recession, sales actually went up because people were having quote unquote staycations where
reinvesting in their home property, same as what we saw over the last 2 years with COVID, right? Rather than people traveling,
exactly,
they're redoing their backyard, or they're putting a pool in, or they're whatever, because they're going to be home more.
Exactly. So I think, like, I wouldn't get hurt by a recession, but that's interesting. How do we prepare for that in the ball python world? Do we anticipate again where there's going to be a reduction in pricing across the board? Or does it become, do we anticipate seeing more people close shop? Because let's face it, the majority of the people that are doing this are not killing it financially. That's just the reality, Well,
I think that's the reality of the majority of the working world too, right? But I think that, I mean, at least in terms of the way through this, or the way to survive, at least, is to really double down on your overhead costs, your breeding production, finding cheaper sources of food, finding cheaper sources of bail, finding more and more people that need rats, exploring that avenue, or mice, etc., exploring the avenue of different businesses, etc., that can make use of these animals. There's lots of animals in the zoo that eat rats, for instance. It's not just snakes. If you really want to think on a broader picture, there's always a way to expand what you're doing. And when it comes to something like breeding animals, you're your overhead is always your biggest killer, right? You always got to figure out the best way to keep your costs down and your productivity up. So I would say with ball pythons, it's going to be all about producing more food. And what's the worst case of holding back females? People are like, why do you keep normal females? Well, I can make a lot of money off a normal female if I pair it to the right male, right? So every female you have is an egg producer.
Absolutely.
So
and I think a lot of people
you get rid of the males. I mean, it sounds cold, but if you have to look at selling males as feeders, if you get to a point where sorry,
who are you getting rid of these males to?
There are lots of animals and reptiles that eat snakes, right? So if you're at a point where you need to, and I'm sorry to those people that are offended by this, but the fact is animals have to eat. So if you're at a point where you can't physically afford to keep certain animals, you should be looking at ways to euthanize these animals and then make use of them. So
one second, Jack, you have too cool a sticker to be in the sticker graveyard, man. All right, you have too cool a sticker. Let's not even go there. And Charlie,
don't manifest that shit, Jack. Stay positive, buddy. I can't tell you how many times I thought about quitting before getting here.
You don't know how many times I thought about quitting this show. Reagan Renee Royal Pythons wants to know if you are in the white on white Mustang.
No, sir.
Elliot, happy day to you, buddy.
Thank you for joining us today, sir.
So, no, I definitely agree, but I think that people still have to start preparing for this. And when you talk about it's a matter of increasing the food, well, that also requires money. But
there's ways to increase food without necessarily increasing your overhead costs. If you want to get creative, you can start reaching out to local restaurants and asking for their food scraps. They're going to throw them out anyway. You can use that to feed your rats. You know what I mean? You can get a wood chipper and you can start making your own bedding. If you have property, if you have people that are throwing out wood, or you're driving by and you see a whole bunch of firewood out for free because somebody doesn't need it, that's an opportunity. That's free energy. And if you're willing to convert that energy and you've invested a little bit of money in the tools to do so, then you're going to stand gain from that.
I liked what you were saying, but we could not keep going.
I know we can't go through it. I'm watching the time going, it's coming.
And I figure I gave you 2 passes already, so
you did.
That's really interesting. You say wood chip. I mean, that again, you it sounds good. It really sounds good, right? But I know
it's not easy, man. It's still time. It's still labor. You got to load up that wood. You got to get a wood chipper. You got to put it through.
A wood chipper, and you know how much it costs just to rent the wood chipper for a few days?
What about the gasoline to run it? Like, it's not free. But if you're willing to invest and you're willing to look at this project outside of the box,
those were just the whole getup with the freaking helmet and screen and headphones and all of that. And I had to get 2 of those because I had 2 people.
Oh my Lord! There are lots of available options out there that you can look at lowering your overall costs and increasing your productivity. It is what it is.
This guy is really loving you right now. Yo, I don't know what. Yo, Charlie woke up with a heart on for you today. Maple leaf on the hood, like the old Firebird.
The flaming leaf instead of the bird. I love it.
Canvas 76 Camaro. That they saw that coming. Jason saw it coming too, and he knew it was coming. He just didn't know when.
You just gotta let it go, man. I can't sit here and worry about it every episode. Otherwise, it's no fun. Half the time, Brian catches me totally off guard, and that's the fun of it, because you just let it ride. Whatever. How about her?
Jason, I need you to read this real quick. I need you to read the comment out loud.
This 3-second read is sponsored by Pope County Pythons, by the way. He's my best friend.
Yeah, he tried to catch me there. That was pretty slick. That was really, really slick.
Oh, God.
Did you get the package I sent you yet?
Nope. I haven't gone to the post office to pick up my shit, though, so I'm going this weekend.
You have U.S. currency in that package, so I suggest you go and pick it up.
I will do so. Thank you.
Again, I told you I find it crazy that thank you, Pope County, for that paid super sticker there. But gosh, YouTube 50%.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
That is crazy.
That's some straight fucking king tax robbery.
That is crazy. YouTube just yanks 50%. All right.
That started mutinies in countries before. 50%. The fuck.
What cracks me up are people claiming to be liquidating their collections, but are asking top of the market prices for everything. Then complain the market is dead when they can't sell anything. It's very.
I just went through and hacked prices on everything, and I mean, oh man, it gets to the point where you start hacking much more. Fuck, I know how much my swag packs cost, so some of those snakes aren't coming with swag packs if things
no, but you know,
going the way they're going.
I had it happen today, and I have it happen all the time where people will reach out and ask me, what should they sell their animal for, or how much should they buy an animal for, etc. Number one, there is no set pricing. It's a market, right? When I go and I eat seafood with my wife and I'm gonna order lobster, when I leave the house, I don't know how much the lobster is gonna cost me. When I get to the restaurant, I have to find out what's the lobster price, what's the market pricing for the day.
Daily market rate.
Okay. So
what factors have affected that price today?
The reality is that ball pythons, we're in the market pricing world, and you have to play the market. And you have to look at that. So we talk, we mentioned Canova a few times. One of the things he's mastered, being a marketing mastermind, is creating a buzz with his marketing. Okay, he is very intentional. And I saw you put a post the other day, like, all right, it's time to start showing these animals again, because he made a video, right? On
we talked about it, man. That's what everybody wants. You want to be sitting on stuff that he promotes. You want to get rid of. That's like hitting the jackpot in the reptile world.
Exactly. Now here's the thing, though. He is not just marketing things to market them. He's marketing.
No shit. He's marketing it to sell it.
He's about to flood the market with whatever he's putting out there. So on the back, you have him producing the supply. Okay. So he's stocking up
like the oil market, right?
Then he starts marketing what he's going to get people to want to buy. Then he's the only supplier for it. Okay. And then everyone rushes to get it. And then by the time you purchase it at whatever value he has it at, it will not be worth that when you grow those animals to size, because it's
3 years later, even 1 year later.
It's a cycle that there'll be something else. So what we do, guys, is market pricing. We're in a very volatile market when it comes to ball pythons. That's just the reality of it. Go on Morph Market before you go and you put out a pied combo clutch or a clown combo. You know, that clutch that
look at what they're going for.
That clutch that Pure Genetics and I just hit, the lowest price on an animal that we made is $3,500. Okay, and there's only 3 of them available. You know, so I'm not mad at this clutch. Okay, I'm not mad at it at all. But that's now. You understand? A year later, there could be a saturation where this same $3,500 animal is now going for $1,000. Okay, so you have to look at it like it's a market and understand the volatility that's involved with this market, because we do talk about this from a business perspective, and that's just the reality. Okay, you know, I saw forward motion reptiles make a comment, and I don't necessarily agree fully. Let's see what his comment was here. I lost it. I don't see it anywhere. There we go. Forward motion. Did you see his comment by any chance?
I can't see comments right now, guys. I can just see the screen of whatever Brian puts up.
But I have it set that you can see the comments. Here we go. People make really bad pairings, and that needs to stop. I don't necessarily believe in bad pairings.
It's kind of like the puppy mill market, man. That's never going to happen because everybody wants to get involved in this game. People can't get involved in this game with high-end shit, so they start with whatever they got, and that's where you start getting a market flooded with low-end bullshit.
Right, and then you have,
so it's a double-edged sword, right? You want new buyers, you want new breeders. Sorry, you want new buyers, you're going to get new breeders. And with new breeders comes low quality mass volume in terms of what they're producing, So I get it. I agree. But the only way to prevent something like that is to start getting into licensing and certificates. And now you're getting into classes and taxes and, license purchases. And anytime you let the government get involved in something like that, they just fuck it up and screw everybody over for money. So,
but I find this comment interesting from bulls and striped pythons. I also have noticed many collections that are sold off all seem to have very similar stuff. So does that feed into the whole notion of the saturated market?
Well, probably, because let's face it. If somebody hatches a whole bunch of double het clowns, for instance, they sell off those males, right? So let's say they sell off 5 males and they keep the females. So now you got 5 different breeders with double het clowns. And now those 5 breeders are trying to produce double het clowns. So then they're getting rid of their excess males in the next year, and so on and so forth. So then within 3 or 4 years, you have your saturated market. And when the greater likelihood of people having the same thing in their collection is thereby increased. So, how many people do you know with a snake named Quinn or Harley Quinn or, a clown named Pennywise or there's certain things that people tend to gravitate towards and people tend to repeat. So
Claire says
it all goes together.
Medusa's Lair says, this is why I breed like 3 snakes in 2 years, because I know they're going to be freeloaders. I pump the rats out. Now, interesting enough, it's not the first time I've heard of someone in the breeding community that have switched their focus. And if you look at it, it's a little bit genius, right? Because there's this ever-growing ball python breeding community, and the one thing they all need are feeders. And you start seeing people saying, you realize
first one's free.
There's more money in
right, there is
breeding the rats and pumping out the rats than the snakes, or less.
This is where we're back to what we were talking about. Zoos need them. Bird keepers need them. Like, you start getting into raptors and birds of prey, they need them. Start getting into other types of snakes, they need them. Start getting into monitors, they need them. Look at ferrets, they'll eat them. Like, there's so many different animals out there that eat feeder rats. You can make a lot of money if you look at things outside of the box sometimes, or if you're willing to put the time and the investment into your operation.
Right. I have no idea what Angie's talking about here. I'm trying to figure it out.
We're looking if I can get my money back or more on the first clutch of it. Yeah, I agree. I look at the mother and father have to pay themselves off the first year. Obviously they generally do that if you're lucky within the first year, depending on what you're working with. And things go in your favor. And then after that, everything they produce is really down to the cost of feeders. And we've said it before, if you're paying $5 a feeder every week, there's only 52 weeks in a year. So you're looking at what, $260 a year to feed a snake? It's not hard to make $260 off of a snake to pay for itself. So, but again,
so H&M Exotic says, I make $100 snakes for the beginners. No one wants a new keeper to kill a $1,000 snake. I don't want a new keeper to kill any snake.
But it's like we talked about before. There's those meat and potatoes, right? Everybody can afford $100 to $200 for a snake. Not everybody can afford, or not everybody's going to spend $1,000. So if you're producing nothing but $5,000 snakes, you're going to need to have the buyers to back that up. Which, not saying it won't happen. The quality's there, the price is right. But people who have a greater following or have more of a reputation have a far easier time selling priced or significantly priced items like that. You know what I mean? If you're going to spend, we've talked about it before, if you're going to spend $5,000, do you want to buy from Canova, or do you want to buy the same animal from somebody else with no reputation? I don't know about you, but I want to buy the brand new.
I'd want them to buy it off of me.
Well, anyways.
Well, no, I'm being serious, because here's the thing. a lot of these people think that, and they don't understand it doesn't work that way. Okay, and you will see, and I've seen it a lot on Instagram in my network, where people have gotten to a point, have made large investments, and they cannot move their inventory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also based on pricing. We've talked about, you can't turn around and sell the same animal as Canova for the same price tag. Sorry. Again, why would I buy it from you when I can buy it from him? Now, if I'm going to spend the money, I want his bloodline. I want to be able to say to my customers, this is from the Canova line. However, if you've priced that animal $500, $1,000, $2,000 less than that Canova item, now I'm going to probably buy it. Because the genes are the genes. As long as there's some reputation to this person, and I know it's a healthy animal, and it is what it is, then I don't see the issue here. But if I'm going to pay top dollar, I want all the benefits.
So I think and here's another perspective that gosh, I don't know what's going on because I haven't agreed with this man in like months. But Troy says I can say that it is way easier to sell a $2,000 snake than a $200 snake. Okay. And probably for a newer breeder, that would be a hard perspective. But I think I've shared this on other shows. When you vend at a show, at a reptile expo, before that expo even starts, you should have already sold animals. Okay.
Going down.
Because
all the good shit's going down.
And that is amongst the other breeders, right? The reality is, I've heard it said before, and I agree with it. Ball python industry is a pyramid scheme. Okay. We are selling to people that we create, we're selling to people we work with, where it stays circling, right? It stays circling. So before a show even starts, if you haven't sold a $2,000 snake, you have work to do. And what I mean by that is you're not mastering networking. Okay, before that show started, there should already be either some sort of swaps going
introducing on, yourself, talking to people, what do you got?
Because when we're talking $2,000 snakes, we're talking about people that would find a $2,000 snake a steal if it's worth $2,400, and they need that animal, right? We're looking at the investment side of things, right? So I 100% agree with you. Haven't agreed with you in a long time, but I definitely agree with you now on that one. And then he goes on to say, if you build good relationships with other keepers and breeders, it's easier to move the inventory. Slater Snake says, I learned firsthand, quality over quantity, and that's the truth. So my Canova animals will make the same animals, so why should I not change the same price charge the same price as Canova? Let folks haggle the price. Am I wrong? You're not wrong in the sense that an animal is worth whatever someone is willing to pay for it. You're challenged in the fact that you are not Canova. Okay. And it's the reason why people usually include the name of a snake, right, in the pairing. It's an Aussie, it's a Canova, it's a AEP, right? We include the name of the snake because that has a way of increasing the value of that animal. But all that is a reptile breeder's name. I think they have a better chance at getting that increased value on it than you do, because it's not a different line per se. Sometimes it is, but more often than not, it isn't. I mean, these same brands, people that have these brands, flip snakes that they didn't even produce. Okay, so it's marketing at the end of the day, and a great comment, by the way. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your ability to market in combination with your ability to negotiate, with your ability to create and maintain a network. And I think that's something that a lot of times gets lost, where we get stuck on if you make the jeans, it's going to sell. And there are hundreds and hundreds of animals on Morph Market that prove that's not true. Okay, it proves it's not true. It's priced competitively against other similar combos, and those animals that are there for a long time. I agree, people will pay for a name brand, but I do get pretty close to the same price on similar. But who doesn't want a Balls and Strikes Pythons animal? Besides, you've been, even though all you do is make males, all your snakes have hemipenes. Besides that, you're putting out high quality animals, and you've done it consistently for a while
You've
now.
developed a reputation as well. Well, when we talked about this initially, we're talking about people that have no reputation, no significant name in the game, so to speak, but think that because they've bought from that person and they've produced the same animals from that person, that suddenly that animal is worth the same. That's what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And kudos to you, man. But
and then here comes the other reality, and this is another thing about a $2,000 snake versus $200 snake. People wanting to buy a $200 snake will kick my teeth in wanting 50 photos, wait, hatch date, and will haggle and haggle. People buying that $2,000 snake call and say ship it, and say,
right, done.
That's
the difference between someone who knows what they're getting and someone who's new to the game and is trying to make sure that they've covered every angle.
Are you kidding me? Sometimes you get excited, like when you're able to drop those 2,000. You're like, I can't believe I got it for only $2,000. You're absolutely right. I hate tire kickers. I don't have the time or the energy. I love helping newer breeders, but again, time is the greatest gift you can give anyone. If you want my time, pay me for it. Then we'll start talking, because that's exactly what happens is the newer breeders just, they'll haggle so much. They'll get to a point where it's like, well, if you ship me the snake for free, which is $100 shipping, and it's a $200 snake, they want it all in at $200. Yeah. How about I lose money sending you the snake? That makes all the sense in the world, right?
Right.
So Vinny from VIP Morph says, I never bought a snake from Canova. I never put a snake from Nova. Good quality is good quality. If you need his name for you to sell a snake, you're doing something wrong. I don't know if I necessarily agree with you 100%. It's all marketing. You have people, right? This television does it all day. You can take aspirin. Let's just take aspirin as an example, okay? What is the most commonly known aspirin or let's say ibuprofen out there, right? Tylenol. Okay, and people are gonna buy Tylenol. They know Tylenol. Now, when you look next to the Tylenol, you have a generic version that costs $1, $2 less with the same exact ingredients. Why do we buy the Tylenol? Right. Why do we use, or why does everyone call cotton swabs Q-tips? They're not Q-tips.
Kleenex.
They're not Kleenex. They're tissue. Okay. It's not Jello. It's gelatin. Okay. That is the mastering of marketing. Okay. When you say Canova, it is synonymous with quality. When you say Canova. Okay. There is a yearning and a wanting to be a part of that, where it's a status symbol, where you say, look, I got my Canova snake, right? Oh my God, I agree with Brian. Marketing is very critical. What is going on today? You know what? Something's wrong with the whole stars and everything, because maybe that's why the internet is all out in Canada and everything like that. Creme de la Clarks, good evening, everyone. Go get a late pass. We started an hour ago. Hugh says, I don't tell folks where my animals come from. I was making the point that quality is there. I don't want others' names forcing my hand either way. I get it. But if you're going to approach this from a business point of view, I think you have to start looking at all of the other aspects of running a business. And
yeah, that's it, man. It is what it is. Whether trends are trends. If you can hop on a trend, you're gonna make money.
Creme de la Crutch said they just found this channel and heard a few episodes this week.
Nice.
Thank you. We
Thanks
really appreciate that. My 2 other shows are way better than this one.
I knew that was fucking coming.
Okay, again,
so remember how it all fucking started, bud.
I'm not gonna debate this, guys. And it's really not opinion, okay? I know that we do discuss a lot of opinions here. So Slater Snake says, I want my snakes to sell for the quality and visual aspect, not the Canova name, speaking from a no name in the game. But again, and this is an opinion. If you took a business course in college, if business was your major, marketing will be a part of that course. Marketing, branding will be a part of your curriculum. I promise you that. Why? Because it is a key aspect. You run any business, and there's going to be a portion of your business expense, your overhead, that's going to go into marketing. Guaranteed. Whether it's putting your name on Little League shirts, whether it's wrapping your vehicles with the name, whether it's your
return address, stickers,
t-shirts, polos, golf shirts, caps, whatever it is, radio spots, television, marketing is key, because I don't care how good you are at doing whatever. Take snakes out of this. I don't care how good you are at whatever it is you do. If people don't know, you're not going to sell your service or your product. Fact. This is not an opinion. Okay? This is where I got to put my foot down, damn it.
It is what it is. Like you said, it's, just basic business.
So 121 Mutation says, balls and strikes, when you spoke, it was almost like Charlie was moving his lips and I heard him say the exact thing. And this is another aspect of business where there has to be, some people call it discounts. I train my salespeople not to call them discounts. I train them to call it add-ons. So Troy is saying all my snakes over $1,000 I ship for free in the lower 48. I would consider that an add-on. So you have to see that the customer is looking at this like, wow, I'm actually saving $100 by buying this animal from this person, opposed to buying a similar snake from someone else at a similar price point that's going to tack on the $100. So again, guys, take notes. You have to take notes. These are the little things that make a difference. If you're shipping out, if you have yourself $10,000-$12,000 snakes and you're really going to fight over $100 in shipping, that $1,200 that you're not willing to eat is going to cost you $12,000.
Read people's policies on Morph Market. That would be one of the things I'd say to them. That is my biggest tip for new people, is they message about a snake rather than just taking 2 seconds, scroll down and read. Most breeders are going to tell you exactly what they're charging for what the process is. All the answers to the regularly asked questions are there. Do your research.
Creme de la Crutch says 4-figure snakes, the cheaper the snake, the bigger the hassle. Slater wants to know whose car did you break into, because you look very comfortable for over an hour.
Can't tell you.
Justin has definitely earned where he's at and is a master.
That's what I was going to say earlier. This is like someone who's worked in a trade for 10, 20 years, is a master of their trade, and then some new up-and-comer comes in with 3 years and expects to make the same wage as that trade's master. Give your head a shake. Like, the experience there, what has got that person to that level is why they make what they make. Once you've put in the hours, once you've gained those experience, gone through the same level, then by all means.
So again, when we're talking about that, like, I invested into a company that has 2.5 decades of recognition as being the best at what they do in a very large region. I had someone call me the other day and they said, well, I'm going to be transparent. I have 2 other people that I have coming in to give me an estimate. And I said, well, since we're being transparent, I'm going to let you know right now, I guarantee you I'm going to cost more than both of those people, and by a substantial amount. And their
response is going to be on a different level.
Well, their response was, I know, because the name, they referred to the name of the company and said, you guys are the Cadillac of what you do. Okay.
Right.
So if you guys want to keep arguing and debating this, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with it. You will never be on Canova's level without doing what Canova did. And I'm not saying that you can't get to that level.
No.
What I'm saying is it's not going to happen through osmosis. And there's a formula. And he went to school and focused on marketing and has used that formula. And that has a lot to do why he can buy your clutch off of you and sell it for 500% more. And that's fact. Again, that is fact. He can literally buy your whole clutch off of you and sell your clutch for what you could not get, that you were holding on to for months, and clear it out for 500% more than you would even contemplate. I'm not gonna argue that. If anything,
faster.
If you want to debate that, then we have to get into financials. The only way I would debate anyone on this topic, let's pull out financials. Okay, and if we pull out financials, I assure you, your financials will not back your statements. Okay, I'm that confident in what I'm saying. Your financials will not back your statements if you think that branding does not play a major role in whatever business you're running. I try to price my animals in the middle of the road compared to others on MM. Definitely not the cheapest, but not the most expensive either. Seems to be a good place to be. I think another factor that we're losing here, and I want to use you as an example, Balls and Strikes. Balls and Strikes is based out of South Carolina. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you're based out of South Carolina. If we have to look at total expenses, right? The cost of living in South Carolina is dramatically less than the cost of living in New York City. Okay, pretty much the cost of living anywhere is much less than the cost of living in New York City. What shocks me is the amount of breeders we get from California with their cost of living, right? Speaking of which, shout out to Monterey Bay. Oops, there it goes. That blessed me with this shirt in Arlington one trip, based out of California. But that plays a role. And Justin has that advantage. He's in Georgia. He has a huge advantage, right? The cost of living plays a role in what you're able to run your operation on, and you should be looking at margins. So I'm okay with the middle of the road pricing if I'm still hitting that margin I want. There has to be a goal on your margin. So if you're hitting that margin, more power to you. You know, we're putting kind of the same amount of effort, right? We have to feed the animals, we have to clean the animals, we have to change the bedding. You know, it's the same amount of time for us. But you may have, if we're selling the animal for the same amount of money and your cost of living is less, you're going to make more margin than me on those animals. South Carolina is correct. And South Carolina, I mean, hell, you don't pay taxes. You have a lower cost of living. Kudos to you. I think it's a smart thing. I think it's an awesome thing. It's one of the reasons why I want to get to Texas, you know.
No, what we were saying earlier, figure out a way to lower your overhead.
What is going on? Brian is on the road tonight. Facts about Justin being able to sell snakes at a premium. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. I just try to get Jason to be right twice a year. Drop Time says you can get there by selling normals and do it in a month. You know, we can't knock the normals, guys. Again, I talk about margin and I've shared the experience. I know that when we first started, I remember Samson and I acquired 3 classic girls for a total of $90, all breeder size females. Okay.
Nice.
He made his money off of the first clutch where the snakes all went for $300 a piece and better. So just look at that. The investment was $90. Okay, a $90 investment. He, I think, was I would say at least 16 eggs of the 3 snakes. No snake went for less than $300. So look at the margin that he made on that. Okay. So
It's a lot of Lego.
Don't knock. Oh yeah, he's a little Lego nerd now. The kid almost has 1,000 followers on TikTok in a week with his Lego TikTok. But I love his entrepreneurial spirit, you know, and he's
fucking right. Fucking right.
You know, he's every day giving me his updates. He is in Disney today. Pope Python says, I paid a little extra for a snake today because I like the person and he's done me right in the past. And you should.
Reputation.
You 100% should. The way I see it, it's almost like tipping. Whether or not I negotiate with you goes on a few things. It goes on our relationship. It goes on the animal. It goes on the actual value of the animal. More often than not, I don't have to negotiate because I'm offered a dramatically reduced price, and I would find it offensive if I were to even consider negotiating with someone that already made that attempt. Okay. But whether or not I negotiate with you, there are times where I've asked people, what do you think is a fair price for this animal? And they come back to me with a higher price than I was willing to sell to them. Not what I would sell the animal for, but what I would sell the animal to them. And then I would tell them, well, I can't do that, but I'll do it for $100 less. Okay. And it was based off of the established relationship and other factors involved. So great comment, Pope. I agree with you 100%. Hugh says, well, since I stirred the pot for the night, I'm going to sneak out the side door and leave y'all with it. All good, hashtag, all good, all right? Royal Black Bull says, I've been watching, just couldn't hit the chat. Much love, family. Plus, I don't know I don't know how you text from inside the pool. I know you're in the pool all day with the princess. So my favorite thing customers tell me, and we're going to wrap it up here, guys. My favorite thing customers tell me are you sure there's nothing else in this snake? Pays off when you only buy the best example of each gene you invest in. Quality, 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 quality. But sometimes, I mean, you know, you got to admit it. Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know. I do tend to discount snakes for repeat customers, especially when I know they will be back again and again and again.
Right.
So I think what you've done today, sir, is you have given a lesson on the business aspect, or at least you have shared a lot of good pointers on the business aspect of being a ball python breeder. So I want to thank you for that, Bulls and Strike Pythons. Whether or not anyone wants to listen to these lessons is up to them. Sometimes we have to go through things on our own before we get there. But I promise you this: any new breeder or anyone that plans on getting into breeding, take heed to those lessons that were shared today. You will be ahead of the game if you don't wait to fail first before you change your ways. Okay, that was a lot of good stuff that was shared tonight. Take heed to that. That is the business aspect of it, not the hobby. All right, we often talk about hobby versus business. I'm separating the business from the hobby. From the business aspect of it, if you want to make money and that's what this is about, take heed to those lessons. If this is solely a hobby for you, do what you want to do, how you want to do it. Okay, have fun. That's what it's all about. Don't lose the fun. Whether it's the hobby or the business, it's the passion that brought you here. It's the passion that ignited your enthusiasm. Don't lose that passion. Have fun. Because when Jason talked about wanting to quit so many times, I've gone through that sentiment. Many others have gone through that sentiment. It's when your passion gets affected more than anything else. Okay, so keep the passion alive. I think that was great. Welcome, Insane Clown. Thank you for the comment. Good night. Now I don't know, Genetic Canvas. Now I'm taking issue with this because there's only two of us here, and you said assholes plurally. Okay?
You're a pretty big boy, Brian. So
it was different when he was talking about the Canadians. Okay, it was different when he was talking about the Canadians. Okay,
I thought he was just referring to you in plural.
Insane Clown Python says, "This is a lifestyle for me, no hobby or business." That's deep. That's really, really deep. Okay, that is deep, and we're gonna leave it right there. You guys have yourselves a great night. Jason,
take it easy, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for making it happen. 81 episodes, and you found the way to make it happen. There's two types of people in this world: those that make excuses and those that make it happen. Have a good night, everybody.